That's
now.
it.
Press it.
Yeah, right. Oh, I think I've caught the sun a bit on my face here today.
I need
Why
to
is
do
it
my
my
hair.
eyes?
It's
Why
my
my
hair's
eyes all
really
goes
messy today.
white?
It's the thyroid it is, making my hair dry.
Is that coconut
Yeah.
oil, sweetie?
This is another thing of the menopause.
Hold
you know,
on now, we've got to do the theme tune. Quick. Right,
Play the theme tune, play the theme tune, sing the theme tune.
So, God, Jesus. So, welcome.
Hello again, here we are again. But we've just...
Moomins and Lala.
Yeah.
Welcome to...
Moomin and Lala's conversations between two middle-aged crackpots, I'd say.
Yeah.
But we're just talking, free talking, and we'd love it if you leave comments. Probably tell us to fuck off or piss off or one of the other. Can you swear on YouTube? Yeah. Are you allowed to? Yeah. Are you sure? Yeah. Okay. Well, you just tell us what you want anyway, but because we're used to it.
You've watched these YouTubes then?
I haven't. I've only watched astrology. And
Well, how do you know what to say?
And the tarot card reads.
You just did that. Perfect then. Write us a comment or something. What would you
Oh yeah,
say?
they say that in the tarot cards. If you think you've had a good read, comment below if any of the stuff's come true. Well, I'm still waiting for it to come true, so I can't comment yet.
So what are you waiting? Let's ask you the question then. What are you waiting to come true? What about Mr. Prince Charming? Prince Charming!
Well,
Prince
I've give
Charming.
that up because I live in Ludlow, and I've decided now that I'm quite happy living by myself. If the case is that I have to stay a spinster, then I shall happily be a spinster and own it like Bridget Jones.
Is she a spinster?
Not now, no, because she found Mr. Darcy.
Oh.
But I think I will find Mr. Darcy if I could get out to Ludlow.
Tell me, what would the ideal Mr. Darcy be like?
Well, he'd be like...
It's not working. It's gone off.
You've turned it off?
Oh, God. Oh.
He'd wear a nice woolen jumper, a scarf, a pair of jeans. He'd be quite creative, well-travelled.
What about his core values? I asked you this today, didn't I? Because you went out for you took a stroll with a gentleman chap.
I did.
Yes. What core values? What do we mean by core values? So it's not about, okay, so we can all imagine what the person will look like, what they would dress like, what music they would be into, but what is it about somebody's personality that you
I like them to have a pure heart, to be honest, truthful and funny. I need them to have a sense of humour, but I want them to believe in, I would say, trust as well. You've got to be able to trust someone. I like someone who doesn't pretend to be someone they're not.
And when you say honesty, what does that look like?
Someone who is who basically hasn't got another girlfriend on the go.
Ah, right.
Because I've had a couple of those, haven't I?
Yes, you have. Yes.
You know, I've always been the one that's you know, the last one, innit? The man from America.
Yeah.
He was down the polytunnel, wasn't he?
Eh?
He was down the polytunnel.
What do you mean down the polytunnel?
He's got 7 on the go.
What's the polytunnel?
What do they call it?
I don't know. A polytunnel is it?
Polyanaruff, innit?
Pollyanna.
Yeah, just call it the polytunnel.
The polytunnel.
He's down the
Yeah.
polytunnel. He's got 7 women. I'm the 7th one.
Do you reckon he had 7?
Yeah, well, he told me.
Oh.
And I tell you now, a man will tell you what they're like in the first conversation.
Yeah.
And he said to me, I haven't really worked out well with one-to-one. So my friend told me about being a polytunnel. And so I did at one time have 7 women who are all very good friends now. And I thought, well, yeah, I'm the 8th one then. But anyway.
So honesty. What was the other one? What was the other ones you said?
A pure heart. You can tell they got a pure heart. They've got to be someone who you know, would stand up for what's right.
Ah, okay. And what sort of things do you stand up for that are right, that you believe in? And
the freedom to be able to say and speak our truth without being discriminated for it. Also, I stand up for the freedom of animals. I cannot bear animals being caged in any way. for human pleasure.
Yeah.
And I just think that we've got to have free will to do what we want, to say what we want, and to be who we are, really.
I'm so sorry for me yawning.
Well, it's that gin. This is what happened. And the sugar, you've eaten half of that cake.
Half of it.
I thought you was only going to have a small cake.
Oh, God.
You've never eaten sugar in your life. What's happened there?
No, I do.
It's the planet, isn't it? They're
3
making
days.
you do it.
3 days. I mean, yesterday I went through a packet of Cadbury's Crunchies like a locust through a fucking cornfield.
Oh, but aren't they lovely?
5 of
when
them.
you start on them.
God, and I woke up this morning and realised I'd not eaten one of them. What does she do? Cup of tea. Get the bloody
Get it out.
Get it out.
First
get it in
of
the
all,
mouth.
in the morning, you get up and you think, I want a cup of tea. Now, what you're going to go for? You're going to go for that smoothie with the protein powder. But no, there it is, staring at you in the face. You've got that crunchy bar in the fridge, or you've got a packet of chocolate buttons. We're going to have the chocolate.
Eat me.
Yeah.
Eat me.
Yeah.
And it went.
It's nice. It's a good start to the day.
Oh, honestly, but I've been down that allotment garden, working off the.
You remind me of that thing of Matilda. Eat the cake. You know the Trunchbull.
Trunchbull.
What was his name? That greedy little thing that wanted the cake.
I don't know. But her name was Trunchbull, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So, down the allotment garden.
My nan couldn't stand that. Don't lick the knife.
I know. Oh my God. If my mother saw me putting
Doing
a knife
that?
in my mouth now, that would be it. Honestly, I'd be burnt at the stake.
Yeah.
So, what are your hobbies?
Well, there's no time, is there, for the little fairy to have hobbies now, because she's working these double shifts in the hospitality for £12.21 an hour. So when I did have time for the hobbies, I like photography, taking pictures of capturing an emotion out in nature, or just, I'd like to be a fashion photographer as well. I could really see that taking on.
That's it. She's off to it next. Back to London.
Yeah, I would like to do that really, but there's no time for hobbies when you're working all these hours, is there? Well, the Matrix doesn't allow anyone to have a hobby if you're doing double shifts and you've only got 3 hours off in between. Although I have got to say I do have 3 days off a week, and so the hobby would be being with Tiny Clanger,
right,
taking him up the woods and channeling his consciousness really, and his wisdom.
You do that a lot with him, don't
you?
Yeah. So is the Moomins, the little fairy, is she thinking
poetry? I could write a good children's book. I could.
No, I've still got the beginnings. In fact, littered about my house and about my cerebral hemisphere are many projects that the little fairy started and it doesn't get finished. I have the original. Don't say the title of it.
I know what it is.
Because somebody will have it, and we've still got to write it. I've
have.
still got the little book that me and Poppy put together.
Yeah.
Brilliant little book.
Yeah.
Still got to be done.
Well, we've got to do it.
Yeah.
I've got to write a book about Tiny coming from the moon down to Earth to give us the wisdom. Anyway, yeah, it's all these things, isn't it? But it's, have you heard about this new thing now? They want to block the sun. The government have paid £50 million, or they've been paid £50 million. They want to block the sun coming into the UK.
Why?
Because of global warming.
Oh, for fuck's sake! Are you serious?
What it is now. That's what they're talking about.
That's got to be a joke. Tell me
how
that's
are
got
they
to be a joke.
do it? I want to know. But I must say, don't you think they're doing it now? Because we've got one day. We've got 1 day of hot sun, and then the next is the middle of winter. They're fucking with it, aren't they?
What do you think that's going on now?
Of course it is. Because how else? You wouldn't have this years ago. I remember.
Say, poor darling.
When I was at school, you would have the heat wave, and it would come, and it would be boiling. You wouldn't have 1 day hot, and then the next like the freezing cold. They're messing with it. I'm telling you.
A tropical heat wave. The temperature's rising. It isn't surprising. You certainly can. Who's that? 10 points.
I haven't got a clue. It's not in my ear.
Marilyn Monroe, darling. Marilyn Monroe. We're having a heat wave. Tropical heat wave.
No, darling.
He's not shouting now.
Do it. Oh, it's out down the street.
blocking out the sun.
We're blocking out the sun now.
Right, it needs another gin and tonic.
What do you think of all this new age stuff? Now this is going to touch a nerve with you because you
okay.
do it, don't you?
Do I?
But I've got to ask the question.
Right.
Where's it all come from, and why all of a sudden are people worshipping chocolate? I mean, you know, we got Cadbury's chocolate.
Oh, cacao.
The cacao is coming from the land.
Now, I've got a theory about
Peru?
this. Now, listen to this. Right.
It's, you know, in the Bible, in Revelations, it says humans in the New Age will worship false idols.
False idols.
Well, that's the chocolate, isn't it? The cacao now. They're thinking that the cacao can heal their whole bodies.
Right. Now, you know I import cacao from Peru.
Yeah, that's one of your ADHD gifts, isn't it?
It is a gift. It's a bit of the asbestos coming into play. Now, I've got a theory about this. Now, I'm going to pose something to you. Do you know what cacao leaves, I believe it's the leaves, cacao leaves are used for?
I definitely do.
Oh dear.
Cocaine.
It is the cocaine. Now look, the rise in cocaine, the cocaine has gone like that, I reckon.
Well, it has.
But also the rise in cacao.
It's gone like that.
So they're growing. So I reckon cacao is a byproduct of the cocaine.
Well, it is. And it can give you that high, but not like the cocaine. But that's a different podcast for a different. That's on the black net, I would say, talking about that. We better not talk about that. But yeah, we talk about the cacao now. It's the chocolate, but the people I've watched them doing it, and you know they're melting the chocolate into the almond milk. You know, it's got to be the plant-based milk, and they're stirring it in. And it's now I didn't do that when I was making chocolate crispy rice cakes with the cooking chocolate years ago. So what's happened?
The Co-op cooking chocolate,
yeah,
59 pence a bar.
What's happened? And we can't. This is what you got to do. The cacao's in here, and you've got to hold it here to the heart chakra.
Hold it to the
Thank you. I thank you
Gratitude.
for coming, Mama Cacao.
Mama
Cacao,
Mama.
all the way, and you're going to do this, and you're going to do it's fucking chocolate. Why are we praising the chocolate bar? This is what humans do. They're so easily led. If we picked up this now and said this is a black raven, if you bend over backwards to this and pray to it for 20 days, you'll be a millionaire. They'll fucking do it.
They will. They'll do
because they'll do it, and it's a bar of chocolate that's been imported from Peru.
Well,
now, you don't get doing that when you take a line of cocaine. You get it up your nose. There's none of this. I can't understand it. What's it all about?
Well, do you think it's cultural?
Well, we know that the Aztecs took it, and it must have worked for them because they built a fucking village on top of a rock.
I think it was more than a village, sister. I think it was a bit of an empire. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, but how did they get all them rocks up there? How did they get them rocks up on the top?
The power of cacao, sister. Oh, God, there it goes. Oh, has it gone? The power of cacao. Now, yeah, no, I think it's cultural. What's it called? Cultural misrepresentation? No, cultural. It's when we try and you see, I don't do the ceremony with the cacao.
You're just making the money from it.
It's the mindfulness of it. We do make it right.
well, yeah, but anyway.
Mindful. Well,
it's just
a little plug. Mindfulcacao.co.uk. So any profit that we make goes into our land fund project,
which we haven't got yet.
Which we've been
looking for the last 20 years.
2 years. Last 2 years. Let's not over-exaggerate the points, but there we are. But yeah, it's not. I mean, the cacao I buy in is not the cheapest cacao.
No, it wouldn't be, would it? It's like the carpet, £28 a square yard that you can't even walk on with your shoes on.
$28.99, including underlay. I'll have you know.
Underlay.
No, the cacao. Yeah, it's so good for you, isn't it?
It is good. I've got to admit,
vitamin bomb.
You don't get the high from the cocaine, but you do get a warmer.
I've never had this cocaine.
Well, you probably wouldn't need it now. I definitely took it in the 80s and 90s. Not in the 80s. I took it in the late 90s, going into the 2000s, because I loved the old Ibiza scene, and there was nothing like having a line of coke and a bit of a jam.
I used to go to raves.
And the old ecstasy, I bloody loved it. Get them in. Yeah, everyone was loved up. Nobody wanted the alcohol. They just you'd see someone. We'd get in a car. We'd go to a secret rave in the middle of the woods. They'd be there from all over the country, and they'd be loved up. And you'd go over to them, you'd hug them. You go over to someone now and hug them, they'll bottle you.
Yeah. But there wasn't Botox in sight or a mobile phone.
There was no mobile phones. It was just pure love,
water,
loads of drugs, and the moonlight, and it was bloody brilliant.
But you know what? When I first started going to raves, which is the summer of 1990, the hardcore season, 89, 90. Yeah. It was when I came out from my cocoon and transformed into a butterfly. Do you know what? I just didn't take one single drug for over a year.
No.
And then I could count to you on my hands how many times I did a dab of speed.
Yeah.
I did a quarter of a purple acid tabs. And the once I did a quarter, or was it half, I can't remember, of an ecstasy pill when I was in Aberystwyth. Was it? No, Llandudno. At a party there. And I met a woman and her young lady and her boyfriend at the time. She was 4'6".
Good Lord.
4'6". She should have been in the bloody circus. And her husband or her boyfriend was about 6'7". It was the most ridiculous combination I'd ever seen in my life. First time I'd taken half an ecstasy. No, I think it was a quarter actually.
It's like going into a sweet shop and have a quarter of that, please. Half
but you know what? I researched it for 2 weeks before I took it. Of course I did.
I was completely different. I took a lot on one night.
Oh, why?
No, I went. Well, the first time I took an ecstasy pill, I had half a pill, and I was 28 years old. I'd never had anything like it in my life. It was the very first time I'd ever felt any sort of movement in the heart at all.
Oh, really?
The love came up my body, and I just sat there with this great big grin on my face, and I thought, I love everyone. I love everyone. And you don't want to fight. You just want to be at one with them. There was no fighting. That's why the government stopped it. They weren't making no money on the drink. There was no scrapping. There was no fighting.
Well, there's no drink because nobody drank alcohol.
The hospitals were closed.
Yeah.
But then, of course, they had to have that one bloody death. But it wasn't a death. It was made up. Do you remember that Leah Betts? They said that she took an ecstasy pill. She died from it. She didn't die from the ecstasy pill. She drank too much water. It flooded her brain. Oh. It wasn't the ecstasy pill. So just take the drugs and don't drink the water. But anyway,
drink the water. I mean, what's in our water for a start?
Well, that was probably what it was. It wasn't that ecstasy pill anyway. You wouldn't be able to take one now. They've mixed them with all sorts of concoctions.
Not that we're advocating taking drugs.
No, however, but I mean, I took it years ago. We're not talking about now, are we?
No. However, what do you feel
taking
about
cacao instead? So.
Yeah. And I did a post the other day. There was a tune came on Facebook. Mickey Finn, I can't remember which one it was. I'm no good, but Mickey Finn took me right back to 1990. Giving it large, Manchester. Here we come. And now I'm 57 and I garden.
You got an allotment,
a little allotment garden.
That's why I couldn't do that allotment. I thought that is a sign of old age. I can't do it.
Not offended.
Well, you know it is, isn't it? Because when they say I'm going down the allotment, what does an allotment first bring up to you? I tell you what it brings up to me. A little old man going into his shed.
We're not allowed sheds.
No, with his spade, trying to get away from the missus. Going back in the pre-war days, building the biggest, who's grown the biggest leeks.
Yeah.
And I thought, I'm not ready for that yet. I've got a few more years of life.
I can't wait for you to come down to the little allotment garden. Honestly, you'll be able to tell.
Oh well, I'll know which. I don't want you to tell me.
You'll know exactly.
I will know which one is yours because it's gotta be bigger and better and more colourful and more bright and sparkly than anyone else's. It'll have.
I think mine's got fairground rides on it.
In vegetables. If you could have the Class A drugs, the best of the best, you'll have the Class A best strawberries, raspberries, bananas. They're all organic seeds. They're from Peru. They've been shipped in.
Prayed over.
Yeah, you know, and that's what it is, isn't it?
Actually, I mean, I've realised, actually, I wish you'd have seen the allotment, but you'll need to come and see it. But I've realised that actually I'm not actually a gardener. I'm a designer of spaces. You can tell my allotment and my loft compared to everybody else's.
Yeah.
She's nice, neat little rows of pumpkins, courgettes, shallots, carrots.
And what have you got?
It can't just go with the fucking flow and
No.
do what everybody else is doing. It has to create something completely different. So it decided not to put any pathways down until it had allowed the land to dictate where the pathways were going to go.
The land spoke to you.
The land spoke to me.
This is another. This is an.
The land
This
spoke.
is another new age thing.
New age
But
thing.
well, it's not though, is it? Because our ancestors knew where to put those great big stones in Stonehenge. So maybe the land spoke to them. So tell us, darling, how does the land speak to you?
Well-
and you're not on drugs when this happens.
No.
No, this is
no.
just.
Actually, the land used to speak to me at Blossom Lake. Well, the
Yeah.
trees used to speak to me. I think it was the trees and
And
the
there's
land.
no drugs involved.
No drugs
No.
involved at all.
And what does
Not
the
even
land,
a gin
what
and
does the
tonic.
land say?
Well, what I did, out of respect for the chap that had the plot before me,
Yeah.
a guy called Martin, who'd obviously grown a lot of flowers and pollinating flowers, that sort of thing. I don't know about vegetables, I couldn't quite work that out. I wanted to make sure that everything started coming up. Everything starts growing in March. You wouldn't know this, you're not a gardener, but I'm
Right.
just letting you know. Everything starts growing in March. So I waited for everything to sort of start poking its head through before I put the pathway round. And the pathway twirls around and goes in and out, and then it creates a structure out of bamboo sticks that it's bought.
Sounds like something like the Green Man.
It kind of, well, one of them looks a bit like that. It can't just have the rows and the neat.
No, it doesn't want it. And who wants those rows? There's got to be. It's got to be little.
It's got to be with some little table and chairs in the middle somewhere.
In the middle of the allotment.
In the middle of the allotment plot, there's a little table and chairs. Then she's got a little tent. She's got a tiny little tent.
In the allotment.
In the allotment, big enough.
They won't have that. She'll have that.
No,
she'll
that'll
have
come
you
down.
to take it down. That woman will.
Yeah, it will come down. At some point, it will be told, get it down. It constitutes as a building. Get it down.
This is another thing that we dictated over. We have a piece of land. Even when we bought the land, we can't do what we want on it.
Now, listen to this.
What's all that about?
I watched a video today, and apparently, so this is quite a hot topic actually, I think, in the news, even though I haven't actually watched the news for probably nearly 40 years now. We always say 38 years, but it must go up and down. Up anyway. And apparently the government now, get this, if you're a farmer and you own land, the government are allowed to buy up part of your land as a farmer to build houses on.
Get away.
You don't get a choice whether you want to sell that land or not. That's irrelevant.
Who's told you this?
It was on a video I watched today. I only watched about 3/4 of it because I thought, I'm in the fear matrix again. I can't be doing with this. And then I thought, no, sister, get and watch the rest of it. So I did watch a bit more, and then I had a phone call come through, but that's irrelevant. The government can come as a farmer and buy up some of your land to build houses on, not give you the market value. Oh no, you won't get the market value for it.
No way.
Yes, exactly. So I think the farmers have been screwed over a little bit. I can't wait for the next instalment of Jeremy Clarkson's farm.
Oh yeah. Well, this is what's happening. The government are ruling everyone and everything. Now we're not even allowed to have the sun. But the thing of it is, we can't do fuck all about it because they'll bring the army in, and then they'll shut us all down. It's this thing. But I reckon if we all stood up to them, like every single human stood up to them
Revolution,
and said no,
sister.
then we could possibly then be heard, because the army wouldn't be able to put us all in prison because the government have no one to control. Is that right?
You've only got to look at what happened or as people were on the way to Auschwitz. And
What's Auschwitz?
Auschwitz.
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 Auschwitz. What the fuck's that?
Which
Which country are you in?
Germany.
Oh, right, okay.
I mean, Austria.
Heinzwein.
Eh?
Heinzwein.
The what?
What are you on about?
Auschwitz. Anyway,
Okay.
they're on the way. They're on the trains, right? Terrible situation. They're on the train. No, they're getting on the trains. They're in the station. They're in the station, and it shows you one soldier guarding probably 100 people, and all he's got is a gun, right? And they're dotted just sporadically. In fact, there was probably 4 soldiers to 1,000 people. And they were saying to them, you've got to get on the train. I think this is the right story. I'm not, I don't. Anyway. And nobody thought, I'll jump him. I'll get his gun. I'll take one for the team, because that's what it would have taken. And people can easily be herded in fear.
They will be herded. And there's a certain part of many humans that need to be controlled and herded, because if they haven't got rules and regulations, it's a fear for them. It's too much freedom. Is that the autism, do you think? I don't know, but most of the majority of humans need to be controlled.
Well, they need
told what to do.
They like structure. We like structure, don't we? We
like structure, yeah, but we don't like the government telling us what to do, when to do it, and all of this. It's just not right. Well, but that's another interview.
Another interview.
I got to go in a minute, darling. I've got work in the morning at that pork shop.
I've got to go to bed. I'm absolutely shattered. I've been in the sun for about 3 hours today.
Yeah, you probably haven't put any cream on or anything. You probably.
No,
and now
I don't
you're
use the
thinking that you'll have
cream,
like dehydration tonight.
Oh no,
but we'll shut it down for another night.
Right.
I think I'm going to have to stop.
26 minutes. That'll do. How many
yeah,
of these
well,
have we done?
We got to edit it, haven't we? Yeah.
I like the way you say we. I haven't got a clue how to edit it.
No, I don't, but somebody will. You'll pay him some money. You got some money from
Well,
on that cacao, haven't
you? Why don't we ask if there's anybody out there?
Well, we can't ask the audience to do it, because we can't edit it to put it on there.
Phone a friend to get it. Well, do you have to edit? Can you not just put it up? Well, anyway, there might be some nice young student out there who's desperate to... I have caught the sun a bit here, but my eyes always go white there.
Well, no, darling, you can't ask the audience.
Look at it.
You can't ask the audience to edit it for us. That's not very professional. You wouldn't get Russell Brand saying, "Can anyone edit this video?" Would you? We can't do that. Let's just do it.
Who gets shit done between you and me? Who gets shit done?
Well, you do, didn't you?
Who comes up with the ideas and who gets the shit done?
Yeah. Yeah, I came up with the idea for the theatre because I knew you'd do it.
Tiny theatre. And what have we got? We ought to turn it round and show them.
Yeah, show them, darling.
Show them, turn it round.
And then we'll have to shut it down for the night.
All right, this is what we call the nook. This is my favourite bit. We got the stairs there leading up to the Queen's parlour. We've got the stage. There's the stage over there. That's the stage. There's Moomin's little chair where she sits and does her poetry. And she loves it. The stairs, this is where they come in. They come in and go out. It's
Yeah, 25 of them in here the other night.
Fire exit. Yeah, look at that ceiling. Looks like a... Look at that. Lights there. These lights.
This was the groggiest, darkest cellar you've ever seen. And she's done it. She's waved her wand and made it like this.
But I've only done it. Ooh, I get by with a little help from my friends. Ooh, I get high with a little help. We actually don't get high. We don't. Yeah. Ooh, I get by. But look at that. I'm telling you that. Look at that, Moomins. That ought to be right. We're going to turn it off. So say goodbye.
Bye.
Namaste.